Welcome to the Daily Devo. My name is Grant, and today we're talking about being persecuted for following Jesus. The only disciple of Jesus that made it out alive was John. Now, he didn't technically, but out of all of Jesus' closest followers, he was the only one who died a natural death. The rest of them, after the resurrection and after the ascension, they were martyred, and so were many other Christians, meaning that they lost their life because they wouldn't deny following Christ. Even John, who might have died a natural death, he was forced to live in exile till the end of his days. Through the history of the church, Christians have been persecuted. Even to this day, in many parts of the world, Christians can still find themselves in harm's way for choosing to follow Christ and living for him boldly. Jesus knew that this would happen to those who chose to follow him. You actually see that in Matthew chapter 5, verse 11. It says, "Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kind of evil against you falsely on my account." It says that you are blessed when you experience persecution. Now, for many of us in our context, I have to assume that we're not going to actually experience persecution on this side of eternity. For us, for the most part, we're incredibly blessed that we might not ever actually experience extreme forms of persecution. You might get a glance, or there might be moments where people make comments about your faith, but the idea that you might lose your job, or you might lose your life, or you might lose like a sense of autonomy in yourself probably isn't going to happen. In fact, for us to call what many of us will experience persecution might even be spitting on the graves of those who have. But that being said, when you look at this text, it's actually pointing out something a little bit more specific. We should encounter persecution, or at least some tension, when we choose to follow Jesus well. For example, leading up to the Civil War, Christian abolitionists fought fervently to help end slavery. They experienced persecution and they were reviled by many, in fact, many who called themselves Christians, simply because they wanted people to be treated with dignity and freedom from literal slavery. A key to the verse in the text that we're looking at today says, "People will utter all kinds of evil against you falsely." And this means that you're still without fault, even though you're experiencing some level of tension with the people around you. Much like Jesus' trial, he was not able to be found guilty of any charge. And you and I should never actually be found guilty of anything more than choosing to love God and to love others. If you are following Jesus well, you shouldn't fit in. You should create tension with others around you, and that tension will create moments where you are blessed for that tension. And my question for you is simple. Does the way that you follow Jesus in your life create tension in the world around you, or do you fit in a little bit too well? Does your version of following Jesus actually make it really easy for people to not even know that you're following Jesus, all because we're so afraid of sticking out a little bit? But let me tell you, you are blessed in the tension, because it's in that moment where people can truly see all that Christ is, all that he's done in your life, and all that he can do in their life. Thank you for watching the Daily Devo.